You're looking at a daily chart of ELF. I'm going to skip the NASDAQ today because it's just going sideways, up 4 points, down 4 points. Very cautious ahead of these earnings, which are coming in, not great, but not horrible. So we're just going to have to wait and see and be patient as the earnings weeks evolve here. The rest of this week and next week's another important week. So we're just going to have to be patient, give it time. But I don't really trade the index. I trade stocks, and this is ELF, and the trend is your friend. And this is one heck of a trend. This one is just trending higher. There's really nothing to do here. Trimmed a little bit. I did talk about the percentage above it's 200. There's no foolproof method. You can see the bottom number there. SMA 200 is 75.9%. Above 79.6, 77, 79.4. So back, in February, it was around this level and, in the 75, 79 area. And then it pulled back to the 21, even below the 21 here, and got below 60%, 56, 55, 52%. And then it took off again, started ramping because there was more buyers than sellers. And once again, it got back to the mid 60s and now above 70 here. And this week, 75.9. So it's getting back to this type of, elevation, above the 200. So it's likely to pull back. It could, go to 100 and pull back 5% to 95, at higher prices. But anyway, the trend is your friend, and you just, ride a trend like that. That thing is doing beautiful. Not near a buy point though. CROX is, and it's kind of strange because it's had such a nice run from 109, but it's just filling out the right side of its base here. You can see even the relative strength line here looks like a cup with handle pattern. So if this thing pulls back to 140 or 138 in the next, few sessions, that would be a nice handle and a buy point here. A standard buy point would be 143.50. Obviously, we got this thing around 80, and then when it pulled back to the 50, we got about 110. And then last week we had it might have been the week before, where it traded above this downtrend line right about the 128 level. There was another buy point here. Now it's at 144. So yeah, it seems like it's extended, but if it pulls back here for a few sessions ahead of earnings, that would be really nice. We'll just have to wait and see what the earnings look like. But CROX is one of the leading stocks, and we're doing really well with it. And I know some of you on Twitter are asking me, should I sell it? But ahead of earnings, it's always wise to take some profits. You don't want it to be too heavy. And like I told you, my 15% formula for CROX, its largest one-day loss is 10%, and so you add a 5% stop loss to that, and so the formula is 15% cushion ahead of earnings. And then you could probably hold, a smaller position. But I'm holding a full position into earnings because I have a good entry point. Entry point is everything in stocks. You hear about weak hands. It doesn't mean you're a weak person. It just means you got a, higher entry point. So you're not a weak hand if you buy it at 128 and took profits at 144 and not holding into earnings. Congratulations to the longs. That is a great trade. Another stock that I like is Lululemon. Yeah, the $250 yoga pants, I get it, but it's got this 3-week tight here pattern after gapping up on earnings, just holding its gains. I mean, this is a beautiful shelf pattern here. Tells me that the institutions are comfortable paying, $375 for the stock, or $370 or whatever. And they'll probably be back to buy some more. I think this is a good buy point right here for Lululemon, but that's just me. Wingstop is another retail. I'm just going through some of my retail stocks right now. And this one looks good to me. You might be a little bit extended maybe, but pull back a little bit today. That is not a inside day. Somebody's asking me if it was an inside day. No, it's not, but it's 2% above its 10 EMA and pulling back nicely. I like this consolidation here with Wingstop, and I think a lot of people are eating out. The restaurant stocks are doing well, and Wing is definitely one of them. Academy Sports, yeah, I like this stock as well. Gapped up here on earnings, had a nice strong day, pulled back to the 21, got support, ran up again, pulled back to the 21. and the last 2 days has traded higher on lighter volume here, but the trend is your friend, and this is trending nicely higher. I expect it to take out make a new high here pretty soon over 69. That would not surprise me. In fact, I expect it. Let's go to the drug stocks. Novo Nordisk was had a report today that women who are more than 7 months pregnant, the last 2 months should not be taking their Ozempic. And I'm not even going to get into that. It was just due for a profit taking. And all it did today was just a gap lower and just kind of held, $5 loss, 2.83% loss here down to the 10 EMA. And this has had a huge run from, 135 to 170. So it's bound to pull back and form a base here. This is a real large stock, 375 billion market cap, and not a fast mover. But they raised guidance last week, and there's nothing wrong with the stock. It's just due for a pullback. That one looks good to me. Merck also looks good. They brought out their bazooka earlier in the week, bought a company for 10.8 billion, and the acquiring stock usually pulls back. This one's formed a nice base here, though. The last 4 sessions pulled back, still trading above the 21. They have earnings next Thursday, and we'll just have to wait and see if this thing can pull back to the 10, get support, and then have a nice earnings report and make a new high. That's I'm not predicting that. That would be nice for the longs in Merck. That stock is set up nicely. TGTX is one that we had on our watch list here a couple times, but recently the 1959 standard buy point, and now it's took off on news, pulled back, and then is just ramping up again. This has got best in show multiple sclerosis drug, and I suspect when the management releases some data points on this is going to take off once again. Another stock with superior science is Viking Therapeutics. This thing's trading like it's going to be bought out. Just goes up every day. It's a one-way stock. Went up on the phase 2 trial, and another company could partner with this, or it could sorry about that, got a spam call. They could partner with these guys or buy them outright, but VKTX is definitely a quality company, quality product, and when you have superior science, you're going to be in demand. So that's enough for the drug stocks. I'm going to move on to the semiconductors. NVDA to me is like the clear leader, the only one to own. Like I said like yesterday, why own an ETF like SMH when you're going to get Intel? Who wants Intel when you could just buy the leader, NVIDIA? That one's trending nicely. And then AMD, I like it. It did a round trip though, which never done a study on how many round trips are successful, but it did pull back to its prior buy point, which coincides with this 50 here. And it's intriguing to me. It's not real strong like NVIDIA, but they have earnings coming out May 2nd. And I like the company. I think they're very consistent, have good leadership. But, semiconductors have been out of favor here since the second quarter started. And I want to take a look at ACLS, speaking out of favor. This one had a real nice ramp, and now it's just squatting here below its 50. I do not like the looks of this. This thing has to get some support here and ramp higher soon. They have earnings May 3rd, so you got to be careful this time of year of when the earnings are. ALGM, Allegro Micro, the same thing as ACLF, just squatting here below the 50. I do not like this. You need some support. You see the volume here on the selling. So another stock that's holding up a little better is Lattice Semiconductor. It's above the 21. So any stock above the 21 we like. Below it, not so much. The home builders, DHI, some of you bought this and said you took profits today because they have earnings tomorrow. Congrats to the longs. All it did was pull back to its 10 and then ramped up. It's hard to hold into earnings when you don't have a cushion. So I took that DHI and ramped into KBH, which looks pretty good to me. This is a nice cup with handle set up. They don't have earnings. They have earnings out of the way. It's been up like the last 5 sessions, got some volume here. So to me, KBH looks pretty darn good. The home builders have been strong. Meritage, just ramped to get, got to look at the weekly here. Big, long consolidation and trading higher. Same with Pulte Homes. Big, long consolidation. Now they're ramping higher. So I like the home builders. Just some random stocks that I like, that I own, and just ones that I might want to own. This is LNTH, has this big cup with handle, and then it's just ramping higher, and now it's respecting its 10 EMA. Triple digit earnings and sales growth. Earnings next week on April 28th. That one looks good. Palo Alto Networks is another one that I like a lot because I like to own leaders, and this one I believe is a leader. I like Fortinet too, and I like CrowdStrike, but I like the consolidation pattern here, and I like the leadership at Palo Alto, and there's certainly a strong stock. I could see why you got shaken out today if you own this, because it just traded down, nearly to its 21, and it's a nice ramp and then a pullback. So it's doing nothing wrong as long as it's above its 21. I like Palo Alto Networks. FOUR had a short report today, and it was successful, spreading some fear. Always shakes people out, but you could see the selling prior to today was very heavy. So something's going on here that I don't like. Sliced its 50 with volume, so it's adios muchachos for me. PERI, commercial services advertising, just pulled back to its 21 today. Volume was kind of heavy, so we're gonna have to watch this one and see how it holds up. Tesla, I was trying to listen to the conference call after hours, but I was getting kind of busy. This is down 3.5%. I do know that their margins are shrinking, because they're pretty promotional here in 2023, dropping prices, trying to take market share, and it's just part of doing business in the electric vehicle market. And the last one is IBM. IBM reported decent earnings. Big Blue used to move the tape. Man, if they reported a quarter like they did and it was up like this, the whole market would be up back in the 60s and 70s. But we're not in the 60s and 70s, and IBM's just another company now, another hardware company, essentially trying to become a software company, and been really struggling. But anyway, had to mention Big Blue for sentimental reasons. Anyway, that's it for today. We never give up. See you tomorrow.